Hello again, everyone, and welcome to this episode of One-on-One. I'm Martin Foss, and today we're going to go down into the history lane. We're going to take you back and find out all about Fakier Jewelers. We'll have our guest, Greg Fakier, who a lot of you know in the community. When we come back, the history and a look in the past. Don't go away. One-on-One is brought to you by the Law Office of Waits and Downer. Early 80s, anybody who was somebody had a different grade of Rolex.
Yep.
Some of them had diamonds all around the dial. Some had plain ones. It was unlimited.
There was a lot of that going on. Now it's become a status symbol, but it's a collectible thing now. There is people that are buying Rolexes with the intention that they just want it. They want a collection where, everybody's saying, oh, the demand of Rolex, is it manufactured by Rolex? It's absolutely not. What's happening is that back in the day, the 80s that you're talking about, you would say, I got my Rolex. I succeeded in the business. I graduated from college or whatever it was. That's what it represented. Mm-hmm. And now I want a boat. Let's get a new car. Let's have a toy. Now I got my Air King. Now I need my Submariner. I got my Submariner. Now I need my GMT. Got my GMT, now I want a solid gold Daytona with an Oyster Flex bracelet. They just keep on, they want more watches. It's absolutely, the dynamics of what's happened to that watch line is really special. When we first moved into the store in 2017, we thought for a brief moment, is the watch world dying because of the Apple Watch? Is that Apple Watch going to kill this? Just like in the early 80s, was the quartz movement going to kill automatic movements? It absolutely did just the opposite. The watch world got more popular. When you look at, talking about quartz movements, when Seiko's quartz movement became a big deal, I remember in our store that we had, and I'm using Seiko for an example, 95%, if not 100% of those Seiko watches were all quartz movements. Then it became today that if we have 5 quartz movements out of 50, it's totally flipped. They want automatics. Mm-hmm. And the appreciation that goes with an automatic movement and the work that it takes to do that. Going to diamonds, back in the 70s, the way that the diamond was cut typically had a very large table because the word was big, a big look. I want my diamond to look huge. I want a 2 carat that looks like a 3, or a 1 carat that looks like a 150. Mm-hmm. The diamond's sparkle was suffering because of that. There was dynamics to the light performance inside the stone that was making it not perform correctly. Today it's flipped. Better cut, better performance, prettier stone. In order to achieve that, you've got to sacrifice more rough. So more rough diamond was gone because you had to produce sculpture within that beautiful rock. Mm-hmm. Just like if you asked someone to take up piece of wood and create a totem pole. Mm-hmm. Then they carve you a totem pole, but you ask Leonardo da Vinci to create the same sculpture, you're going to come up with 2 different looking products. Mm-hmm. One's going to be very fast, and it's going to not be very detailed, and one is going to be very detailed. It took a long time to do, and that's exactly the same thing with a diamond.
When people walk in and they get their diamond, there's a lot of work that goes into getting that diamond where they are able to buy it and leave the store.
Yes.
Yeah. How'd y'all learn all that?
Well, I mean, if you're a jeweler, you have to learn certain things.
Yeah, but what's the learning curve on that? Pretty tough?
Well, it was a lot. Now, going to our stuff, we are also sourcing conventional cuts, but our real thing that we really and have been doing for 21 years now is cutting our own facet. So we're having in New York our own facet cut. We still love conventionals. We love them to death. They're all over our store. But we like cutting our own facet. We do that facet on naturals and on lab grown now.
Well, you were mentioning that the volume increased when the quartz came out. Now, which sort of reminded me, I remember having a conversation with Gordy Dove one day. And I said, well, how is Outbacks and all these restaurants that are popping up on Martin Luther King affecting Copeland's? I was curious. He said, our business has gone up because people go looking for a place to eat. They're all circling around and overflowing all the restaurants. Even if Copeland's is overflowing, it helps Outbacks. If Outbacks is overflowing, it helps Copeland's.
Yes.
So when they go out to eat,
Yes.
they end up at a location. Same with watches. The more interest that
Yes.
people have for watches,
Yeah.
business increases.
It does. And Rolex is getting the majority of the interest out there. But what's happened is there's a lot of price points. And so the guy who wants to spend, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, $30,000, for example, they buying certain brands of watches. Mm-hmm. And the guy that wants to spend $5, $6, $7, $8, $1,000, $2,000, they're in a different category, but they still want to own different watches. Mm-hmm. They like the way they look and what it means to them and the color schemes and the styling. That whole watch segment has done well. Not just Rolex, everybody.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm.
It's funny how the Rolex, I remember buying a Rolex from you for Mom and Dad for Christmas way back. And just to show you how my dad was, when I gave it to him Christmas morning, he opens it up, he goes, and all my sisters go, whoa, you got a Rolex. He goes, well, my Timex works just fine. So the old timers,
Right.
you had to almost rebrand in their brain what a Rolex was. But it caught on. Everybody had a Rolex, right?
Boy, you know it.
How were you able to keep that inventory?
It wasn't easy, but back in those days, you picked up the phone, you ordered what you needed. I can remember vividly that we were fighting the discounting between all Rolex jewelers. Well, today, because of the demand and what's happened, there's no discounting. We're the cheapest place to buy it because we're the authorized dealer and we have to stick to the suggested retail price, where the secondary market is higher than the retail price. So the market's flipped. Your authorized dealer now is the best place to buy because the price is sticker price, where the secondary market all over the internet and whatever, they're higher than retail most of the time. It's that way. Right. So it's the market's completely flipped. It really has.
Talk about the characters that y'all would have go into the store without naming names. I'm sure y'all had personalities from A to Z that came in the store, and you got to learn those personalities. So I'm sure you knew when so-and-so was coming in, oh, he's a little tight, he's going to want to get me down, or this one's going to come in and say, give me 3 of that one and 3 of that one. You had to learn them, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's every business. And we have characters, but I can tell you, we got good customers and we adore them. We've enjoyed them over the years. And we've really been, I'm gonna knock on wood here, we've just been a very fortunate company in the 97 years we've been in business. But I'll share a story without naming names and just to imagine the value of something in the oil field, since you brought up the oil field. I remember a client who you would know his name, so it won't come out. And he walked in there and bought 8 Rolex Presidents to give to his good clients in the oil field. That was in the early 70s, late 70s.
Yeah.
And
it was booming.
Well, it was booming, but just imagine that, giving away solid gold watches to your clients. Now, there was some oil pumping, during that time frame. And of course, we all experienced that downturn, that first crash, we call it, which was just devastating.
Early 80s.
Whoo, devastating
Yeah.
for this community. I mean, it was tough. We've also experienced a lot of other crashes that were very bad, but that first one was, whoo, that thing was rough back then, you know? It really was.
To buy that many, you had them in stock.
No, we had to order them.
You did, okay. So how long would it normally take for that to come in?
I'm not sure about that. I mean, a couple weeks.
Did you send that person a Christmas card?
I did.
Send him 8, right? 8 Christmas cards. Does your mama still give input, or does she just sit back and let y'all go?
She lets us go, but she's paying attention. You know, my sister and brother, Susan and George, they very active with their opinions and telling us when they love something we did and vice versa. But it's basically Manon and I there in the store now, daily.
So how's Manon? I mean, she came from out the country. You brought her into the country. She's such a sweet person.
Poor
too.
soul. I don't know.
Yeah,
Still.
but she looks like she just fit right in.
Well, her dad had 2 stores in Montreal.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Is that how y'all met?
That we did meet that way in Switzerland, Lausanne, Switzerland. There was a jewelry school, and that's where we met. And you know, her primary language was French, and so there was a French side and an English side. So we went to school, but we didn't go to school together inside the classroom because it was French speaking, I was English speaking.
Yeah.
But on, call it recess and whatnot, I was only supposed to be there 2 months. She was there for the full 4. But I called my mother and I said it was very important that I had to stay.
Right.
So I stayed. And that's where we hooked up.
Did you have Miss Dover for French?
I remember vividly when I was in at St. Gregory
Yeah.
that I told my teacher, my French teacher, that there was no way in the world I needed to learn French. And how wrong I was about that.
Yeah, no doubt.
That was
Et
the
Miss
biggest
Dover,
mistake.
Michel, vous travaillez dans nous regardons la télévision. Pourquoi?
I never took Miss Dover's class because I didn't need it. I was so wrong about that.
And now you need it.
Boy,
Do you
I
know
need it.
French now?
I know enough to get through, you know, and it's a constant learning curve. If I was immersed in Montreal, my language would just increase by
Thank
tenfold.
God she was smart enough to learn English, right?
Yes,
Yeah, she didn't rely on you to learn French.
that's right.
All the stories I heard about your dad, they were just characters. What would he say now and see the success of what he talked you and Glenn into doing? And I say this with all adoration, a couple of guys like y'all hanging around with all of us guys, and let's face it, we all looked in the day and said, what are we going to do? What's going to be our profession? He'd be pretty proud.
He'd be very proud. He would be probably kicking Glenn and I to the side and hanging out with my wife because that beautiful store is because of her. I want to give credit where credit's due.
Right.
We would want to buy something, and she would want to get something, and I'd say, how are we going to spend that? She goes, we got to have that. And we would have that, and of course, everybody loved it. But my father would have absolutely enjoyed working with her, too. And Glenn and Manon worked quite well together. After my father's passing, my mother, Glenn, Manon, and I were a foursome.
Right.
We really were. But going back to my father, I think to answer your question, I think he'd be very proud. My grandfather as well. That store across the street is absolutely a store like not many in the United States.
Yeah.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm.
Recently, we saw the old jewelry store, the old Fox Theater,
flat.
torn down. And the biggest conversation I heard about the whole thing was what they do with the safe. And I bet you made a run through that safe, right?
Well, that we opened that safe for 40 years of my work life, damn near 40.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember the combination. I couldn't open it up. But I know when we left, it was empty. You know, my sister ran a big sale in there Did something go back in? I don't know, but I can tell you it's rubble now because whatever was in there left, it wasn't valuable.
Right.
Unless you'd open the safe and found another 200,000.
250?
250,000.
Yeah.
The more sentimental thing when it was being flattened, and you got time lapse of that, which was really well done. But the thing that was the hardest thing to see for me was watching the excavator grab the safe door and throw it to the side, which when you really look at it, that was my father and mother's dream. You know, adding the safe was the thing that they really added to that building.
Right.
That was like, oh man, you know. But
Yeah, dreams change.
hey
you know?
man, it has to happen.
What's the challenge of today's market with all of social media and everything? You've had to adapt. We've all had to adapt.
Absolutely.
And we've had to grab onto things that in the day we go, well, that's silly. But now we're right in the middle of it, right?
Yeah.
So how'd you adapt?
Our mindset is whoever walks through our door, that's the most important person in the world. When they call us or they walk through the door, that's the person that we care about. We want to attract other people to us. That's what marketing's about. But once they're in our door and we are engaged with them, that's our, no pun intended, our gold. That's our people. That's our customer. And they treat us well. We have great customers and have had them for 97 years, I can tell you. And that's all we care about is the person walking through the door.
Just in closing, is there going to be a big 100-year celebration?
I'm sure there will be.
Yeah. Like old time. Back in the day, though, they had oyster shells on the street.
Yeah, I
They
know.
wouldn't have concrete.
No.
I look at those old pictures, and which your uncle and aunt had a lot to do,
Yeah.
passing me on pictures.
Yeah,
So nostalgic.
it is.
Even in my lobby, I got a picture of all this area,
Yeah,
and they had the oyster shells. And I'm going,
yeah. Hopefully, we got 3 years before that time. Hopefully, Main Street keeps on coming around.
keeps
you know?
growing.
Yeah, it looks like it's starting to happen again. So it just 3 years from now, hopefully, it's happening more.
yeah. Greg, appreciate it, the history, and keep up the great work and keep moving. And I know a lot of people looking down on you say, all right, get to that 100 and let's have a good celebration.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm. This one-on-one program has been brought to you by the law offices of Waits and Downer. Jack Bay down to Point Ocean, Thibodeau to Grand Caillou, HTV's part of you. Bayou Black down through Dulac, Southland Mall to City Hall, we'll bring the news to you. Raceland, St. Charles, Bayou Blue, Morgan City and Assumption too, where sugar cane is grown. So much to see on HTV. Stick with us 'cause we're your home.